You're at a red light minding your business in your sports car. Next to you, what looks like a soccer mom's station wagon. Light turns green, you floor it, and then you watch this family hauler absolutely disappear into the distance like you're standing still. What just happened? You just got gapped by one of Japan's ultimate sleepers. We're talking about factory-built wolves in sheep's clothing, cars that look like they couldn't outrun a shopping cart but will humble supercars all day long. Today, we're counting down 5 Japanese legends that prove you should never judge a book by its cover. Trust me, number 1 on this list is so ridiculous you won't believe it's real. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Carretera. If you're new here, we dive deep into the cars that make your pulse race, the hidden gems, the legends, the machines that deserve way more respect than they get. And speaking of respect, these 5 Japanese sleepers, they've been fooling people for decades. While everyone's drooling over Supras and GTRs, these under-the-radar beasts have been quietly destroying everything in their path. So buckle up, because we're about to explore some of the craftiest performance cars ever built. And stick around to the end, because that number 1 spot, absolutely bonkers. Let's kick things off with the car that started it all, the 1987 Mitsubishi Galant VR4. Now, I know what you're thinking. A Galant? Really? That's what my accountant drives. And that's exactly the point. This thing looks like the most boring sedan your dad ever owned. But here's the kicker. This was the blueprint, the grandfather, the original gangster that led directly to the legendary Lancer evolution. See, back in '87, Mitsubishi had this crazy idea. What if we took a regular family sedan and turned it into a homologation special for rally racing? They needed to build a certain number of road cars to qualify for competition, so they went absolutely nuts with the Galant VR4. We're talking about a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder pumping out serious power. But it wasn't just about the engine. This thing pioneered full-time all-wheel drive in a sedan. Even crazier, they threw in 4-wheel steering in 1987. Most cars today don't even have that. This was Mitsubishi's testing ground for everything that would make the Evo legendary. Every bit of tech, every performance innovation that would later terrorize rally stages worldwide, it was born right here in this unassuming sedan. And the beautiful thing about the VR4 is nobody saw it coming. You could pull up to anywhere looking like you're about to discuss quarterly earnings and then absolutely demolish somebody's weekend warrior project car. The element of surprise? That's the VR4's secret weapon. These days, true enthusiasts know what's up with the Galant VR4. It's become a cult classic, the car that proved Mitsubishi wasn't playing around. But back in the day, this was the ultimate undercover boss. All right, moving up to number 4, let's talk about something that sounds completely ridiculous until you realize it's 100% real, the Toyota Crown Athlete V. Now, the Toyota Crown is Japan's executive flagship sedan. This is what company presidents drive. It's leather, luxury, refinement, basically the opposite of a performance car. You'd expect to see it parked outside a boardroom, not at a track day. But Toyota had other ideas with the Athlete V trim. They took that dignified, respectable executive sedan and dropped in the legendary 2JZ GTE twin-turbo inline-6. Yes, that 2JZ, the exact same engine from the Supra, the one that tuners can push to 1,000 horsepower without even opening up the block. Can we just appreciate how absolutely insane this is? Toyota literally said, let's take Supra power and wrap it in a luxury sedan that looks like it should be driving 5 under the speed limit. And here's what makes it even better. Because it's wearing that crown badge, nobody expects anything. You're sitting in butter-soft leather, cruising in near silence with all the luxury features you could want. Climate control, premium sound system, the works. Your passengers are comfortable, maybe even falling asleep. Then, somebody wants to play games at a stoplight. You drop a gear, let those turbos spool, and suddenly your boardroom mobile is making supercar owners question their life choices. The Crown Athlete V is the ultimate Q-ship, the automotive equivalent of a secret agent, sophisticated on the outside, absolute weapon underneath. And honestly, if I had to pick a daily driver that could also embarrass sports cars, this would be high on my list. Plus, imagine the look on people's faces when they get walked by what they thought was a Camry's fancy cousin. Priceless. Actually, you know what? If this video gets 500 likes, I'll make a whole episode just about 2JZ-powered sleepers. Let's make it happen. Smash that like button right now. Coming in at number 3, we've got something so rare, so perfect, that most people don't even know it exists. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution wagon. Yes, you heard that right. Mitsubishi took the rally-bred all-wheel drive monster that is the Lancer Evolution and said, what if we made it practical? The result? One of the most capable sleeper wagons ever built. Here's the thing, only about 2,900 of these were ever made, and they were exclusively for the Japanese market. So if you've never heard of it, that's why. But man, what a machine! Under that station wagon body, you've got the full Evo treatment, the legendary 4G63 turbocharged 4-cylinder, Mitsubishi's sophisticated all-wheel drive system, the works. This isn't some watered-down family version, it's a legit Evo that just happens to have more cargo space. Think about the possibilities here. You can take your kids to school, haul groceries, pack up for a camping trip, and then absolutely destroy somebody's weekend at a backroad run.
It's the ultimate have your cake and eat it too car. The Evo wagon could hit 60 in under 5 seconds. That's faster than most sports cars, and you're doing it while carrying a week's worth of Costco runs in the back. The handling? Just as sharp as the sedan, maybe even better because of the extra weight over the rear wheels helping with traction. Car and Driver tested one back in 2005 and basically said it was one of the fastest cornering wagons on the planet. Imagine showing up to a track day in what looks like a grocery getter and setting faster lap times than dedicated sports cars. That's the Evo wagon life. And here's my favorite part. Nobody expects it. Ever. You're just another wagon in traffic until you decide not to be. Then suddenly you're the fastest thing on the road and everyone's wondering what the hell just happened. The manual transmission versions are especially sought after now. We're talking about a proper driver's car that just happens to be incredibly practical. If you can find one for sale today, expect to pay premium prices. These things are becoming seriously collectible. All right, we're getting into the heavy hitters now. Number 2 on our list is the Nissan Stagia 260 RS, and this thing is basically a cheat code. So here's what Nissan did. They took a regular station wagon, the Stagia, and handed it over to their tuning division, Nismo and Autech. And those absolute madmen went, you know what this needs? GTR everything. I'm not exaggerating. The 260 RS got the RB26 DETT twin-turbo inline-6 straight from the R33 Skyline GTR. Same engine, same twin turbos, same all-wheel drive Atisa ETS system. They even threw in the limited slip diff from the GTR. This is literally a GTR in a wagon body. Only 1,734 of these were ever built between 1997 and 2001, making them even rarer than many special edition GTRs. And get this, they're actually becoming a really smart investment. Recent sales have been climbing, with nice examples going anywhere from $30,000 to over $50,000. But here's what makes the Stagia 260 RS so special. It gives you genuine GTR performance with actual practicality. We're talking 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds, which was supercar territory back in the late 90s. And you can easily modify that RB26 to make way more power. These engines are bulletproof. The whole point of this car was stealth. From the outside, it just looks like a family station wagon. Maybe you've got the kids in the back, maybe you're hauling some furniture from IKEA. Then you spot a Porsche trying to show off, you nail the throttle, and suddenly you're teaching expensive German engineering a lesson in humility. What I love about the Stagia is how seriously Nismo and Autech took it. This wasn't some half-hearted project. They reinforced the body, upgraded the suspension, fitted Brembo brakes, threw in Recaro seats. This was a proper performance build that just happened to have a tailgate. And the best part? Most people have no idea what they're looking at. You could park next to a regular GTR at a car meet and all the attention goes to the coupe while you're sitting there with the same drivetrain and probably more rare. If you want a GTR but also need to be a responsible adult with cargo space, the Stagia 260 RS is the answer. It's the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The #1 most insane Japanese sleeper car, the Nissan Skyline GTR 4-door sedan, specifically the R33 Autech version 40th Anniversary Edition. Let me be crystal clear about something. This is not a modified car. This is not some tuner shop conversion. This was a genuine, factory-built 4-door GTR for from Nissan and Autech. Only 416 were ever made in 1998 to celebrate the Skyline's 40th anniversary. Think about that for a second. Nissan took their legendary GTR, the car that dominated racing, the car that scared manufacturers so badly it got banned from competing, and they built a 4-door version with everything from the 2-door GTR. Same RB26 DETT twin-turbo engine? Check. Same ATTS ETS all-wheel drive system? Check. Same performance, same technology, same pedigree. The only difference? 2 extra doors and a slightly more subtle body. This thing was marketed as a sports sedan for grown-ups. Nissan basically said, hey, we know you're getting older, maybe you've got kids now, but you still want that GTR experience. And they delivered in the most epic way possible. The crazy part is how much effort went into making this a true 4-door GTR. Autech didn't just slap some GTR parts on a regular Skyline sedan. They redesigned the rear doors and fenders to accommodate the GTR's wider track. They fitted proper bucket seats in the back instead of a bench. They used the same chassis code as the GTR. This was the real deal. And here's where it gets even better. Because it's a 4-door sedan, nobody knows what it is. You pull up somewhere and people just see a sedan. Maybe they notice it's a Skyline, but most folks won't clock it as a GTR. There's no massive wing, the body kit is subtle, it looks sophisticated and mature. Then you floor it, and suddenly you're explaining to someone why their Corvette just got gapped by what they thought was a family car. The performance is identical to the legendary 2-door GTR, but you've got the element of complete surprise. Values for these are all over the place because they're so rare. We've seen them sell anywhere from $51,000 to over $75,000, depending on condition and mileage. That's actually cheaper than many 2-door R33 GTRs, which is insane considering how much rarer the 4-door is. Car guys in the know, they recognize these as the holy grail of practical performance.
You get GTR performance, GTR pedigree, GTR exclusivity, but you can actually use it as a daily driver. You can take clients to lunch, drive your family around, do all the responsible adult stuff. And then, when the moment's right, remind everyone why the GTR badge commands respect. This is the ultimate sleeper, the perfect blend of performance and practicality, the car that makes you wonder why more manufacturers don't do stuff like this. It's everything a car enthusiast could want, legendary performance wrapped in an unassuming package. So there you have it, 5 Japanese cars that prove you absolutely cannot judge performance by appearance. From the rally-bred Galant VR4 that started it all, to the executive crown with Supra power, to the practical Evo wagon, to the GTR station wagon, and finally to that absolutely legendary 4-door GTR sedan. What I love about these cars is they represent a time when manufacturers weren't afraid to do something wild. They saw customers who wanted performance but also needed practicality, and instead of compromising, they went all in. Full performance hardware in unexpected packages. These are the cars that make street racing stories legendary. These are the cars that humble overconfident sports car owners. These are the machines that prove real car culture isn't about showing off. It's about the driving experience and the smile on your face when nobody sees it coming. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Japan's ultimate sleeper cars, give this video some hype. Seriously, let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Show some love for these undercover legends. And hey, if we hit that target, I'll make a follow-up about even more obscure Japanese sleepers that nobody talks about. And before you go, I want to know, which of these 5 would you choose if you could only have one? The OG Galant VR4, the luxury Crown Athlete, the practical Evo wagon, the GTR station wagon, or that ultimate 4-door GTR sedan? Drop your pick in the comments. I'm reading every single one, and I want to see what the Carretera community is all about. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We're dropping content every week about the cars that deserve way more attention. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. This has been Carretera, reminding you that the fastest car on the road isn't always the one that looks like it. Sometimes it's the station wagon that just passed you like you were standing still. Catch you in the next one. Peace.